Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel, Peter's Movie Reviews. And today I am going to review the Lifetime movie Heaven, based on the novel Heaven by V.C. Andrews. Oh my god, you guys, I am so excited to do this movie review today. You guys, I gotta tell you about this movie. I gotta tell you, this movie was so good. It was so good. I am so addicted to these Lifetime V.C. Andrews movies now. Okay, I gotta get into this, but before I do, I have to give you, before I do, this film is sponsored by family trauma. No, that's basically what all V.C. Andrews books are about, family trauma. This video is sponsored by family trauma. Okay, let me give you a little background history on why I've decided to do some Lifetime movie reviews over here, and specifically, the V.C. Andrews Lifetime movies. I'm very, very excited about this. Now, I will tell you, I am still going to be doing the new movies. I am still going to be doing the new movies that come out in the movie theaters. I am still going to be doing the new movies that are streaming out there. The top 10 on Netflix, the top 10 on Apple, all that kind of stuff. The movies that go directly to streaming, I will be covering those as well. I'm still going to be doing movie clubs over here. In fact, I am going to be doing a Halloween movie club. I will be announcing that sometime in the next week because it'll go the entire month of October. I'm going to pick I've already picked it, a franchise of movies that we will watch the entirety of the horror movie franchise for the month of October. I'm really excited about that. I've got some holiday movies that I'm going to do. I'm also going to go back and watch movies that I've never seen before for the very first time, like the Star Wars series. I'm also going to watch the Godfather trilogy because I've never seen those. Well, I've seen like Star Wars and maybe parts of Empire Strikes Back, but I've never seen any of the Godfather movies. So I've got a lot of movies I've been keeping a list of that people have told me I need to see for years that I haven't. So I'm very excited about that. So I am going to be doing all that. But in between there, somebody mentioned to me that I should do, like on my vlog. So I vlog every single day on a channel called Peter's Vlogs. And somebody said, you should do some Lifetime movies. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a fun idea. So I went in and I looked at the Lifetime movies. So the other day, I did a reaction and a review to Gracie's Choice, which is ranked on several different sites as like the #1 Lifetime movie ever. That reaction and review is up, so go check it out. But when I was talking about it on my vlog, somebody, and I don't remember who, I wish I could give a shout out, but I don't remember in this moment who it was, said you should go in and watch the V.C. Andrews made-for-television movies, okay? And I was like, oh my god, that's such a great idea. I am now, you don't have to be, because you can find these movies on other streaming services like Hulu and Tubi and things like that. But if you want them all in one place, like I said, not sponsored, but I am now a proud member of the Lifetime Movie Club, which is a subscription that you can get on Prime. It's $4.99 a month, and then all of your Lifetime movies from 30 years ago to today are all in one place. I love it so much. There's so many movies over there. But anyway, all the V.C. Andrews movies over there. Now, if you don't know who V.C. Andrews is, Victoria Andrews was an author that she wrote a series of books originally called Flowers in the Attic, okay? And her pen name was V.C. Andrews. So she wrote a book called Flowers in the Attic, which originally came out in, I believe, 1979. And so that book was super, super famous. It was about a father dies and a mother doesn't know how to take care of her 4 kids. So she moves home to her very rich parents I think she married like a cousin or something like that. And so it's a lot of like really sick family stuff, okay, when you're watching these movies. But anyway, so the grandpa who's dying, she's basically just waiting for the grandpa to die so she gets all of his money. But the grandpa is like dying. And so he can't know that she has these kids. So she puts the kids up in the attic. So they're like, and then they draw these flowers on the wall. So it's flowers in the attic. But the grandma, she's like feeding them these cookies that have arsenic in them. And so if I'm ruining it for you, the book came out in 1979. I'm sorry. But anyway, so then the grandma's trying to kill him. And then the kids, they're trying to get out the whole time and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, originally, there was a movie that came out, I don't know, like 25, 30 years ago. But then Lifetime decided that they were going to turn the Flowers in the Attic series into a series of movies. And so if you've never read a V.C. Andrews books, so I've read all of the Flowers in the Attic series, okay? When we were in high school, we used to pass them around. they're so weird and seedy, and there's like, they're romance, but it's like weird romance, and it's like brothers and sisters and stepdads and cousins, and it's like shit that really shouldn't go down. Do you know what I mean? It's so weird, but then there's always like a main character that you feel real bad for, you know what I mean? And so in Flowers in the Attic, it's like these 4 kids, and they're like, oh, we're in the attic, try to let us out of the attic. And so they're trying to get out of the attic and all this kind of stuff. But there's like, I think there's 4 main books, and then there's a book that goes back, I think it's called Gardens of Yesterday, that goes back and tells like what happened before the kids ever existed and the mom and dad met. So what Lifetime did was they turned the 4 original Flowers in the Series books into Lifetime movies that are an hour and a half long. Then they turned the 5th book into a series of itself called Flowers in the Attic, The Origin. Now, there's a standalone book called My Sweet Audrina, which I read for one of my book clubs several years ago. I reread it. I love the book. It's about this little girl, and everybody like has accidents around her. It's kind of like The Bad Seed. They have a standalone of that. I might watch that one next, actually, and do that reaction. Because I just found out there's a sequel that just came out a couple years ago called Winter Fern or something like that that they just wrote. So, if you don't know, V.C. Andrews, she wrote originally the Flowers in the Attic series. She started the Heaven series, and I think she started the Ruby or the Dawn series. But then she supposedly left outlines for all of these series to come for years and years and years, okay? I don't believe it. But anyway, and then this ghostwriter, this Andrew Niederman, I watched this whole documentary about it. I think it's on YouTube. I thought about actually doing a drama video about it, but because I have a whole channel where I do like drama commentary and deep investigation. But anyway, so this Andrew Niederman, he it was the ghostwriter for V.C. Andrews and like picked up her series where they left off and kept on writing them when she passed away. So she's got kind of a weird history too, like herself. Anyway. So, go look into it, or if you want me to do the video, I can do it. But anyway, so then he picked him up, but then he started writing his own books as V.C. Andrews, if that makes sense, or Victoria Andrews or something. But anyway, and so there's now 60 V.C. Andrews books. She didn't leave outlines for all those books, there's no way. But anyway, when I was in high school, I read all the Flowers in the Attic books. And then I think I read Heaven, which is about Heaven Lee Castile, and I loved that book. I loved it more than I loved the Flowers in the Attic books. And I love Dark Angel, which is the sequel. So the Heaven series has 4 books in it, I believe. Then there's the Ruby series, and then there's the Dawn series. And then there's a series of orphans, but I haven't read any of those books. So anyway, when I looked on Lifetime, all the Flowers in the Attic books have been turned into Lifetime movies. And then the 5th book, which is called, I think, Seeds of Yesterday or Gardens of Tomorrow or something like that, was turned into Flowers in the Attic, The Origin. And it's 4 parts. And then Heaven, because there's 4 books in the series, was turned into 4 movies. Ruby, the same. Dawn, the same. And My Sweet Audrina is a standalone movie. So I'm going to be watching all of them and reacting and reviewing them over here. The other night, I watched Heaven. So I was so excited when somebody suggested this to me because I was like, this is such a great idea. Okay, so I don't know when and what order I'm going to watch them in, but I'm going to watch I started the Heaven series because, to be honest with you, I wanted to watch the original Flowers in the Attic movie and then compare it to the Lifetime version. But I was like, I've seen the movie so many times. I think I've read the book 4 or 5 times. I was like, I know that story inside and out. I could see the mom coming down to the engagement party in the dress and the little girl with the chopped up hair, not the little girl, the high school girl, coming with I can't even remember their last name, isn't it Dollinger? Anyway, come with that chopped up hairdo around the corner. I can see the movie in my head. I'm like, I gotta watch something else. So I started watching the other night, Heaven. When I started watching it, it's Heaven and her sister Fanny, and they're in school, and these boys are hitting on them. And I'm like, it is so made for TV. It's so bad. I was like, I don't think I can watch this. So that night I watched something else. But then the other night, the next night I was like, no, I want to do this whole Heaven thing. So started it over, because that was the first 2 minutes. So I started it over. Oh my God, you guys, it is so good. So if you want to watch it, you don't want it spoiled for you, check out now, because the rest of this video is going to be me spoiling the made-for-TV movie Heaven. Okay, so Jason Priestley is actually from 90210. He's actually in the second one. He plays Heaven's step-grandfather, I think. Okay, so let me tell you about this movie, okay? So this movie, oh my God, it's so weird. So it's about this girl named Heaven Lee Castile, and she's like, oh, I'm so earthy. It kind of reminds me a little bit if you ever read the book, and I listened to it on Audible, and then I watched the movie's good, but the book is so much better. Why would I call it Crickets Before Dawn? Crawdads, Where the Crawdads Sing. It kind of reminds me of Where the Crawdads Sing a little bit. But that obviously is more like literature, and this is not. Okay. So it's about this girl named Heavenly Castile, and she has like 15 brothers and sisters. No, she doesn't really. She's got a sister named Fanny, and she doesn't look like any of them. Okay, like Heaven is like beautiful and has like long, like red hair and stuff like that. And her sister Fanny has like kind of thinly, like dark hair and stuff like that, and they don't look anything alike. And so then she's got a brother, and I think his name is Tony or Tom or something like that. And then she's got little siblings as well, like 3 little siblings. And then their mom, she's always got all kinds of like ailments and problems. And then the dad is a drunkard and he's never there. Okay. And they live literally in like the shack in the woods. Okay. Which is kind of what reminds me of Crawdads. So anyway, so she's always like walking through the woods, like, let's pick flowers. And then she's telling her little brother, like, no, don't eat those mushrooms. Those mushrooms will kill you. So anyway, so then she's like going to school. And her sister's like hanging out with the boys that you shouldn't be hanging out with, you know what I mean? But anyway, but then she hangs out with like the nice boy that moves to town. But then he really likes her and he kisses her. I can't remember what his name is. I think Logan or something like that. But anyway, it doesn't matter because then he's like, no, I don't want anything to do with you. But I'll tell you that, we'll get to that point in a second. Anyway, so then his mom, like he sees her, the mom sees him with Heaven, and then he's like, no. She's like, you can't have anything to do with Heaven because she's trash. Castile trash. Because her last name's Heavenly Castile. So then, they live with her grandma too. Her grandma's always like, it's kind of like the Dolly Parton stories, you know? Like, you know, but anyway, like her grandma just sits on the front porch and just rocks all day long. And when Heaven comes home, she's like, let me braid your hair. And she does like French braids and stuff like that. I don't know, fishtails. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so then the grandma dies and then the mom goes crazy. And then she like just takes off and leaves like all these 16 kids like behind. Okay. And then the brother, so then the dad comes home and he's like drunk and all this kind of stuff. And then he like sells the 2 little kids into adoption because he can't take care of the 2 little kids. 3 little kids, I don't know how many of them are. But he sells them into adoption, which you can't do today, obviously. You know what I mean? Like Black Market Baby kind of thing. Do you remember that movie back in the day? Wasn't there a movie called Black Market Baby or something? Oh my God, I just remember that. But you can't, you shouldn't do that. I mean, I'm sure some people still do, but you shouldn't do that. Like, that's bad. That's problematic. I mean, that's way past problematic. Just don't. Anyway, it's a book. It's a movie, okay? It's like not real life. Anyway, but this is like in the late 70s, 80s, and he sells these kids to this real nice family. And Fanny's like, and Heaven's like, no, you can't take the kids. And Fanny's like, but no, like they'll have a better life. And then Heaven's like, okay, I guess. And then she's out there like washing the clothes on a rock and stuff like that. And then Tom comes along and he's like, oh, I'm going to get this job doing construction in town or something like that. And he's like, but I have to leave tomorrow. And then Heaven's like, no, you can't leave. I kind of think she had a crush on her brother. But that's probably where V.C. Andrews was like, do I make her go with her brother? And then that's a whole other storyline or no? So anyway, but then there's like this pastor in town and you can tell he's like creepy down, right? And so then like her sister's got her suitcase, Fanny, and she's like, I have to go, Heaven. And then like the pastor's like knocking on the door and he's like, we can tell Heaven hasn't really been a very good influence on you. And Heaven's been like the only good influence on all these people, okay? And so you feel real bad for Heaven because like everybody's just going one by one. And she's like, I'm telling you, these books are problematic. Like they're bad. Like they're bad books, but you can't stop watching them. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of surprised that Lifetime just made these into movies like 3 years ago. They're so problematic. And so then the dad sells Fanny to the preacher because he says they always wanted to have kids and now they do, right? So he adopts a 16-year-old, right? But you know right away what he's going to do. I mean, it's literally like human trafficking in a small town. It's so sad. So then you don't find this out till later when like Heaven goes to the preacher's house and she's like, let me talk to Fanny. And then Fanny shows up and she's like 8 months pregnant. And she's like, what happened? Did this happen? Did the pastor do it? And she's like, yeah, the first night. So then you know, you kind of always knew. But that like, he just adopted her because, you know, bad things. So anyway, so then it's just like Heaven and her dad at home. But you find out before her grandma dies. Her grandma dies too. Did I tell you that? No, her grandma dies. They come home and they're like, oh, grandma's dead. And she's like, who's going to do my fishtails? But she doesn't say that. She's real sad. But anyway, before her grandma It's fiction, you all. It's fiction. But anyway, so before her, don't let your kids read these books. I'm just telling you right now, they'll be warped for life like I am. But anyway, before her Grammy dies, I think she's Grammy. Anyway, Grammy takes her into the woods and she like cleans off this rock that, I mean, she's in these woods every day and she's never seen this gravestone and it says Angel on it. And she's like, this is your real mom. She's like, no, my real mom's Susie inside or whatever her name is. But anyway, the woman that's like, after everybody, like, she's like, I can't handle anymore. Grammy's done and I can't take care of you kids. And I just want to get drunk and live my best life. And mom takes off. So anyway, it's so bad. So, but Grammy, like, takes her to this gravestone and she's like, oh my God. She's like, Angel. And she's like, who's Angel? And she's like, Angel's your real mama. And she's like, an Angel comes from a real rich family. And she's like, I have a rich family. And she's like, yeah, but they don't want anything to do with you because your mama married your dad. And your dad's like, no, bad guy. And he's like, and she's like, but he never got over it. And then he married your mom and all this kind of stuff. And so then you know what's going to happen, right? Because it's bad sex stuff, the whole movies. All the books and everything are bad sex stuff. It's like, what happened to V.C. Andrews to like fuck her up so bad that she wrote these books? You know what I mean? But anyway, and a lot of that comes out in the documentary. So anyway, so then it's just her and her dad because everybody else is left, right? And so then she's in sleep at night and she's like this, like pulled up, like don't come in. And then her dad stumbles in drunk and he like is on the floor and he's like, Angel. And she's like, Dad, it's heaven. And he's like, oh. And then the next day he goes, you have to leave. And she's like, what do you mean I have to leave? And he's like, it's not safe for you in this house. Which I actually thought was like the one nice thing that the dad kind of did. But anyway, because he's like, no, I'm not safe around you because you look too much like your mama. Even though her mom had brown hair and she has red hair, it doesn't make sense. And then she had this porcelain doll. So the grandma gives her this like wedding dress that Angel came in. They don't really say, Angel died giving birth to Heaven, okay? And the last thing she said to her dad was Heaven. So they named the baby Heaven. That's why she's named Heavenly Castile. Okay, so then this couple comes, and I thought it was like a rich family, but it was this woman named Kitty, okay? And her husband, I can't remember what his name is, Carl or something like that. He was real young. Anyway, so Kitty comes to pick her up and they're moving to Atlanta. And she's real excited about that, right? And she's like, we're going to be best friends. And she's like, I used to have a crush on your daddy, but your daddy married that horrible. You don't find this out till later, but Kitty was pissed because Heaven's dad, he really liked Angel instead of Kitty, okay? Because Kitty and him would like drink at the bar and hang out and then he'd like, you know, fuck Kitty. But then he was in love with Angel, Heaven's mom. So then Kitty pays basically to adopt Heaven. So, but then at first she's like, oh no, we're going to have so much fun. You're going to go to school. She's like, oh, I'm really into education. And so she's like, yeah, your dad told me that you're real into school books and stuff like that. We're going to get you. And then she moves home and Heaven's like, so when should I get enrolled in school? And she's like, well, I was thinking that you could clean the toilets every day. It's basically like, she adopted her to be a maid, okay, and rub her feet and all kinds of shit like that. It's horrible what this Kitty does. This Kitty is like horrible to her. And then Kitty, like, I can't remember what she does. Is she like a real estate agent or... No, she's like a nurse or something like that. Anyway, she got this big house in Atlanta. Not big house, but you know, it's like a tri-level. Anyway, and so then her husband, Cal, that's his name, Cal, sits her stepdad, okay? And then Cal, he just stays at home all day long and he's supposed to be like writing the next great American novel, but he never writes anything, right? And then like she's, Heaven's like writing a letter to her brother and she's like, dear Tony or Tom or whatever his name is. She's like, dear Tony, like, I love you so much. Kitty's fucking crazy. All she does is drink and make me rub her feet and all this kind of stuff. And then Cal gives her stamps because, see, Cal's in love with Heaven, right? They're all in love with Heaven. And it's her stepdaddy. And so then the stepmom, Kitty, she comes in. I kind of love that her name's Kitty. She comes in and she's like, who gave you, she's like real drunk. She's like, who gave you the stamps? And she's like, Cal did. Oh no, but Cal. And then she's like, whack, whack. And she throws all this shit on the floor and everything breaks. And she's like, clean that mess up. And then she throws Heaven in this really like scalding water bath. And Heaven's like, oh my God. And then her skin is like about to burn off, but it doesn't. And then Kitty's like drunk and she's like, when my mama used to give me boiling baths to punish me because I was a bad girl, she goes, you're a bad girl, Heaven. And then she's like, she used to put butter on me. So she's got this stick of butter and Cal's like, you're crazy, Kitty. And like, but he just stays with Kitty because Kitty pays all of his bills and he just wants to be a writer. But he really just kind of smokes cigarettes and drinks coffee all day long. He don't really write. And they just play like dance music and clean the house. Like Heaven don't go to school. She just cleans the house. And this one part, like he's rubbing Kitty's shoulders and she's so like drunk. And then she's rubbing Kitty's feet and they're like winking at each other the whole time. It's so funny. But anyway, but she just knows she's going to get her ass beat for it because Kitty's going to figure it out. Like you feel bad. Like Heaven's kind of like, Heaven has like 2 moments of joy and then it's like she gets thrown in this scalding hot bath. It's like butter treatments. She's like, cat! bring me the sticks of butter. And she's like, my mom always gave me butter treatments. And then she's like, tonight is a special gift. You get to sleep in bed with me and Cal. Like, she's 4 years old. She's like, no, I'm good, Kitty. I just want to sleep in my own bed. No, you're going to sleep in between. But then you find out that Kitty's real sick. And you think that, like, her husband Cal is, like, poisoning her or heaven. But that's not the case. She got cancer. Okay, and then you feel bad for Kitty. And then they have to go and take Kitty to her mom's house. Well, then what you realize is that Kitty is the way that she is. There's always religious shit that goes on in these books. Okay, it's always like weird religious shit. And so Kitty's mom is like, the Lord will strike you down if you're a bad girl, Kitty, kind of thing. And so, like, they take Kitty. So her mom sets up a hospital bed. It's fiction, you guys. It's fiction. Okay. So then her mom sets up this hospital bed in the living room, and Kitty's like, oh, I'm dying. I'm dying. And so then Heaven sneaks out like 5 times to go see her boyfriend, Logan. And then the grandma puts out that, like, Logan, that Heaven slept with, and then she goes and sees her sister and sees her pregnant sister. And then she's like, come run away with me. I'm going to go find my rich family. And her sister's like, no, like, this is my burden to bear. And then she goes and meets this boyfriend. And then the boyfriend's like, okay, I'll take you away the next day. Because she's going to, like, sneak out and meet with him and take him away. But then she finds out, oh, because then the mom, Kitty, is like, the one thing I can do for you to be a mom, she's like, is if you want to be with Cal, like, Cal loves you, you love Cal, you should be together. And then she's like, oh, you are a good mom, Kitty. And then they, like, lay together, and then Kitty's going to die. Well, then it comes out that Cal and Heaven have been, like, doing it. Because they do show that. They've been having sex and things like that. And then the boyfriend, Logan's like, I don't ever want anything to do with you anymore because you're a whore. And you slept with your stepdaddy. She's like, but it's not really my stepdaddy. Because it's really not her stepdaddy. It's just some dude that was married to this girl, Kitty, that used to drink with her dad. And she's like, but she should have been my daughter. But she wasn't your daughter, Kitty. Like, you're fucked up. Kitty's fucked up. Okay? Like, and Kitty's played by Julie Benz, who I absolutely love. And Kitty is fucked up. Kitty might be the best character in this show. Okay? So anyway, then Kitty dies. And then they're all real sad. And then at the end of it, like, she writes to a rich family, and then her grandma's like, clean these toilet bowls. Or not her grandma, but like her step-grandma, Kitty's mom. She's like, clean these toilet bowls. And so then Cal has to act like he's, like hitting her with a belt, but he's not really hitting her with her belt. And she's like, what's wrong, Cal? We were, like, fucking. And now he's like, no, just act like I'm hitting you. And so, but anyway, it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, then she's like, I'm going to my rich family. She doesn't really do that. She's always kind of, like, real humble. So then at the end of it, she's, like, meeting her brother because she's getting on this bus to go meet her rich family in Boston. And then, because she's going to go live with her rich family. But I started watching Dark Angel, and you find out that don't last for long. Okay, because I'm not going to ruin Dark Angel for you. Jason Priestley is like her step-grandfather. Anyway, so he looked real old in it, too, because he's, like, my age. But anyway, so then she, like, gets on this bus to go to Boston, and, like, Cal, her stepdad's like, but what am I going to do without you? I love you so much. And she's like, fuck you. You had Kitty. You had Kitty's Kitty, and now you want my Kitty, but you ain't going to get my Kitty because I'm going to find my rich family because I want an education, okay? Because that's always real important is education. So anyway, this movie was so good, but I forgot these books are so bad. They are so bad. So many bad things happen. I mean, these books could not, like, seriously, I don't think these books, like, today, they would be, like, dirty bad books. Do you know what I mean? Like, that 50 Shades of Grey, people were shocked by that. Have you ever read a V.C. Andrews book? The movies are so good that you have to go watch them. So that was my review of Heaven. Did you like that? Did I do a good job? Okay, because I'm going to go watch Dark Angel. I'm going to finish it. I had to start watching it because I wanted to find out if she finds a rich family and stuff like that. Her mom, oh my God, her grandma in Dark Angel is, what's her face? Blake Lively's mom in Gossip Girl. I know. And she's like, I've been rich all my life. And then Jason Priestley's her, like, step-grandfather. I think she marries him or something like that. It's real fucked up. They're all real fucked up. Anyway, that was my review of Heaven. It was really good. You should go watch it. 5 stars. Anyway, I love you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.